The Nazis, it turned out, did not like deacons. After the Netherlands fell to Germany in 1940, deacons in the Dutch Reformed Church rose up to care for the politically oppressed, supplying food and providing secret refuge. Realizing what was happening, the Germans decreed that the office of deacon should be eliminated. Responding in a general synod on July 17, 1941, the Dutch believers resolved, "Whoever touches the diaconate interferes with what Christ has ordained as the task of the Church. Whoever lays hands on diaconia lays hands on worship." The Germans backed down. Deacons through the ages. Most diaconal stories are, of course, less historically momentous. Rarely are they less beautiful. For 2,000 years, deacons have shown as they've served churches and communities around the globe. The witness of history is plain. A congregation without biblically functioning deacons is impoverished, but a congregation with them is incalculably rich. How, then, have deacons functioned through the ages? The question is neither irrelevant nor dull. It is practical. If you are a follower of Jesus, then Christian history is your history. Studying it is like opening a photo album and flipping through your family heritage. So let's begin. Embark with me on a flyover survey, admittedly fast and fragmentary, of the diaconal landscape since the apostolic age. Early Church. Deacons were held in a place of honor in Christianity's earliest centuries. Based on the precedent of Acts chapter 6, verses 1 through 7, a passage generally seen to establish or at least preview the office, deacons in the early church were tasked with supporting the work of pastors by caring for the outward or physical concerns of church life. Historian Rodney Stark notes that deacons in the early church were of considerable importance, assisting in liturgical functions and administering the benevolent and charitable activities of the church. A series of 4th century treatises called the Apostolic Constitutions further outline diaconal duties. They are to be doers of good works, exercising a general supervision day and night, neither scorning the poor nor respecting the person of the rich. They must ascertain who are in distress and not exclude them from a share in church funds, compelling also the well-to-do to put money aside for good works. Historian Charles Deweese aptly summarizes, "They visited martyrs who were in prison, clothed and buried the dead, looked after the excommunicated with the hope of restoring them, provided the needs of widows and orphans, and visited the sick and those who were otherwise in distress." In a plague that struck Alexandria about AD 259, deacons were described by an eyewitness as those who visited the sick fearlessly, ministered to them continually, and died with them most joyfully. Indeed, it was this kind of risky, self-giving love, modeled often by deacons, that bewildered the Roman world. As the African bishop Tertullian observed, "It is our care for the helpless, our practice of loving kindness that brands us in the eyes of many of our opponents. Only look," they say, "look how they love one another." It is all too easy to lose sight of the spiritual value of deacons because their role is so practical in the life of the church. But many of the earliest deacons were giants of the faith, and they defended it with valor.